Okay. The quarantine got it cracking. Gary Russell sounds off on Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, and Gervonta Tank Davis, 135. He says he's coming. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Speaking of Patreon, I revamped the Patreon. Go check it out. If you would like to sign up, we got 4 tiers. We got featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, or heavyweight. See if you fit in any of those tiers and you would like to. I'm working on content. You know, the quarantine, I had to do a major overhaul and get the Patreon right, but I'm going to start putting a lot of content on there, including live streams, and do more for my Patreon members and channel members. So if you guys have ideas or suggestions, things you want to be included with that, let me know in the comment section. Obviously there's no live sports, so I can't help you there. But speaking of no live sports, if you need some quarantine content to hold you down while there is no live sport, use my link in the description box. Get ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. That's the ESPN Plus bundle. It's $12.99 a month, all 3 apps. Again, ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. And it's a great service, a lot of content, and maybe you guys can catch up in between being productive during this lockdown and quarantine. Now, before I get into this clip, because you know the boy Ego I gotta talk, I gotta say my piece, and then I'll play the Gary Russell Jr. clip. I'm gonna paraphrase, it's not gonna be verbatim. Gary Russell Jr. just put the 135-pound division on notice. Very interesting, because that's almost 10 pounds from where he last fought. His last fight with King Tug was on PBC before, obviously, this pandemic, and I thought it was an underrated performance. Gary Russell looked crispy, but fair play and credit to Lbers, because Lbers was no slouch. He was an Olympian, undefeated, and guy, he has some power, has some pop, but he was too inactive, and he was losing too many of the early rounds. He did, I forgot what exact round, but I did check my post-fight commentary if you want more on the fight. But later in the fight, basically the second stanza, Gary Russell, after putting out such a high output, Lbers started to go for broke a little bit more, and it made the fight, somewhat competitive. But I thought it was overall a dominant performance by Gary Russell Jr. against a very good guy. And, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more King Tug. See, and that's the great thing about this sport called boxing. The great thing about boxing is, even in a defeat, depending on how you represent yourself, represent, you can actually gain more fans. Like, even in a loss, it's not just about winning. And I think King Tug, he showed me something. I told you guys it was going to be a sleeper fight. I'd already knew about him, but I hadn't seen him fight anyone as half as good as Gary Russell Jr. So that really showed me that, he's definitely somebody who can get a title, especially with Gary Russell Jr. moving out of the division, according to him, which you guys will see in this video. He said he going to 135. He's hunting down the big fights. And, he got on the scale and he was weighing light 140s, 142, 143. And he said, I'm coming up to y'all. So during this quarantine, he said he'd been working. He has his own gym, or access to a gym, it looks like. He had his own scale, and he showed his weight just a hair over 140 pounds. And he says, he ain't got to lose much, and do no major cut. But he said, Devin Haney, you could get it too. He said, your father said something, and I wasn't feeling it. I don't know what he's referring to, because I hadn't really heard anything that I can remember. He put Ryan Garcia on notice, and he's been calling out Gervonta Tank Davis as well, which is a huge fight. Him being from Maryland and Tank being from Baltimore, the whole DMV area would come out for something like that. So there's a lot of great options. Oh, and don't forget, your boy Vasily Lomachenko is up there. Vasily Lomachenko is a guy who beat Gary Russell Jr., but this was before Gary became a champion. So Gary has since improved, become a champion. He's been one of the longest reigning champions, and he was chasing the Leo Santa Cruz fight, but Leo Santa Cruz moved up. He might get the Tank fight. It's just a lot of action. I don't know if Santa Cruz, we're hearing rumors that it could happen, that they want to happen, but I'm seeing stuff like Santa Cruz telling Gervonta Tank Davis, who just moved to lightweight, to fight him at a catch weight or 130. So I don't know how that's going to play out. I don't know if Tank can make 130 because his first fight at lightweight against Gamboa, he missed weight, and he's missed weight in the past. So I don't know if he's flexible from 130 to 135 and going back down. But I did hear Tank at one point say he can fight in both. So I don't know. It just depends on his discipline, and he might have to get a nutritionist for those extra pounds at 130. So I don't know what's up with that. But listen, I'm really excited because this is the most lit and popping the lightweight division has been, and I've been watching boxing my whole life. But in terms of recent, like, of course we have Sugar Shane Mosley, you have Roberto Duran, running through guys at lightweight. So we've seen great lightweights, But Shane Mosley, when he was at lightweight, he was like 35-0 with 33 knockouts or something. He was just destroying dudes. He looked buff and ripped, and he was just a nasty. Shane Mosley is one of my favorite lightweights of all time, right? But in more recent memory, and just almost even historically, you haven't always had, there's some matches that are classic lightweight matches, but a lot of guys like the Roberto Duran, Shane Mosley, they're bigger fights. Like Shane Mosley moved up to fight Oscar De La Hoya twice, and he fought him at welterweight. You know what I'm saying? So he had to move up because he was blowing through the lightweight. So lightweight is a division where you have some historically great people that have touched down and been in that division, but it hasn't always been a division that's jam-packed. Like welterweight at different points, and I'm not trying to, get my Burt Sugar on, rest in peace, but and do a whole history lesson, but welterweight is always one of those divisions. Middleweight, welterweight, those divisions historically, heavyweight, there's been numerous times where those divisions are really crowded, meaning the talent pool is insane. Right now at welterweight, the talent pool is just stacked crazy. And there's other divisions like 154 is pretty stacked. You got Jared Hurd, you got Erickson Lubin, you have Jermell Charlo, of course, you have Tony Harrison, who's still a good fighter. You have, the other dude that just won, Patrick Teixeira. You got a lot of names, Edislandi Lara. So that's a crowded division right there. Light, heavyweight. But bottom line is lightweight hasn't always been this full. Like where the talent pool is of named branded guys with great fights is this thick. Listen, if Gary Russell is truly, as he's saying, moving up to lightweight, you'll have Gary Russell Jr., quality, once beaten, quality guy, speedster. He's always in shape, so I don't worry about him making weight and all that. Him and his brothers kind of motivate each other, push each other further. I mean, he's just a beast. Then you have Devin Haney. He is a beast. You have Tank Davis. He's a beast. You have Ryan Garcia, and he's looking like he's improving with Eddie and Chepo Reynoso, and he's been knocking out people in one round and stuff. Beast. Lomachenko, beast. Two-time gold medalist. We have to see what happens with him and Teofimo. But that division, my friends, is now crowded. Somebody's going to have to get knocked off, just like they're doing at welterweight, where you've seen over the couple years Keith Thurman fight Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman fight Sean Porter, Errol Spence versus Sean Porter, Kell Brook, Sean Porter, Danny, Sean Porter, Spence, Sean Porter versus you guys, Sean Porter versus Thurman. You're seeing this mixture of great talent. Like, for example, Adrian Broner and Terrence Crawford. Those are two people who had a great run at lightweight, and they were really talented at lightweight, knocking people out, power, stuff like that. But after they got through a couple guys, there was really no one there for them to fight. Like, I think for Terrence Crawford, he fought against Ricky Burns, went over to Ricky Burns' hometown, Glasgow or whatever, and beat him, schooled him up. Then he fought like Ray Beltran, and there was really no one. Broner had already left the division, so there weren't no big names that he could stick around. So he did the natural thing, moved up to 140, and now he's at 147. So it's been a progression. He became undisputed at 140, then he moved up to 47. Same thing with Broner. Broner, people forget, 4-division champion, age 24. Broner was a problem at 130 and 135. His first fight, he moved up and fought Antonio DeMarco, who had just knocked out John Molina in like 30 seconds or one round or whatever. and Broner chopped him up. That's my favorite Broner performance. So Broner, after he fought DeMarco and chopped him up, that was the best guy in the division. You know, guy who held a win over Jorge Linares, right? And he fought Gavin Reese, and then he moved up to fight Paulie Malignaggi and then Maidana, and then he kind of stayed up in the 140s, and the rest is history after the Maidana fight. You guys know that, you know? So Broner, when he was touching down at 35, there weren't no Ryan Garcias and Devin Haney fights and guys like that, and Lomachenko. There weren't these big name fights. Now, Gary Russell's finna be there, Tank, Teofimo, Loma, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. I mean, it's crowded. That's not even including guys like Javier Fortuna, Luke Campbell, you know, who are maybe a tier below in terms of momentum and stuff like that. So this is the most packed, jam-packed that I've seen lightweight in a minute. I'm gonna stop talking because I could go. I'm happy about this, so I could go on for a little bit longer, but I'm gonna let y'all listen to the Gary Russell video now. New media, y'all know what it is. We control the narrative. If you're new, consider subscribing. I drop frequent daily content, live streams, cover the fights when we're not in pandemics, all that good stuff. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
I don't really say much, but when I talk, motherfuckers better listen. Pay attention to me. Grinding. I'm telling you. Devin Haney, your father done said something, and he might have got you in some shit, shorty. 35, I'm coming. Lil Ryan Garcia, shorty, you can get your little ass beat too. You know what I'm saying? Tank, what's up, shorty? Like, come see. Matter of fact, come follow me. Let me show y'all something. I ain't stepped on this motherfucker yet. But we gonna see something in a second. I'm gonna let y'all know this shit real. Say 43. 43? Stop playing with me. I'm coming to 35. It's real. Y'all better get y'all shit together. Quarantine about to be up. Y'all better hope this quarantine shit keep coming. Because when I come out, I'm coming out like a fucking monster. See me? Tell you.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.